What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a Ghostrick Exodia deck. Today I actually took this to a local tournament expecting to get stomped because there are a lot of really above average players that I'd be going against. I'll also be going over the matches I won, but first I'll go ahead and do the deck. Also, I'd like to go ahead and say this deck actually beat a lot of really good decks, a lot of top tier decks. I thought I was going to, I thought I was going to get absolutely destroyed, but I actually came in second, and the only reason I came in second was because the guy who got first main decked Majesty's Fiend, and once he got Majesty's Fiend out on the field, my hand traps couldn't do anything. So, yeah, in my mind I got first, because who main decks Majesty's Fiend? But both the games that I lost to him, in the match, I had 4 pieces of Exodia, and a really close game, but he ended up being able to lock me down. First, I'll go ahead and start with the monsters. Of course, you want the 5 pieces of Exodia, preferably Legend of Blue Eyes. Let me grab the monsters. Hope you guys enjoy my nice new Ghostrick playmat that I put together in Photoshop. Long story short, I really like the Ghostrick regional mat, but I didn't feel like spending $100 on it, so I spent about an hour in Photoshop and about $30 on it. Let's go ahead and start with the monsters. First up, 3 Jiangshi. She's the searcher of the deck. She'll pretty much be the only monster you'll be normal summoning. Flip her down, or you'll summon her with Mary. And the main thing you really want to get with her is Spectre. What you'll do is set her in defense. They'll crash into her, or you'll flip and just get Spectre into hand and build up your hand with Spectres. But whenever she gets destroyed, you can actually, the Spectre you brought to hand, special summon and face down defense, and then draw a card, and that's really good in an Exodia deck when you want to be drawing cards. Also, you want to run 3 Marys, and I'll explain why you definitely want to run 3 Marys once I get to the spell cards. But again, anytime you take damage, you discard her to special summon a Ghostrick monster, whether it be a level 1 because you need a level 1 for a specific spell card, or just go ahead and special summon Jiangshi in face down defense. Next, 2 Jack Frost. Jack Frost is really good because he flips your opponent's attacking monster face down defense. So, for example, today I ran into a number 107, which is the Tachyon dragon guy, or whatever his name is. And it had about 7,000 attack, because it gains 1,000 attack for every effect that activates in the battle phase. And he could attack like 4 times or something like that, pretty crazy. But on his first attack, I just used Jack Frost and pretty much stopped him in his tracks. Next, you want to run 2 Lantern. Lantern actually ends up kind of getting, not necessarily cloggy, but just thinking, man, I really wish this was a Spectre. But Lantern's pretty good. If I may end up adding a 3rd one, just because he's another card that I just wish he ended the battle phase. I feel like that would really even out the Ghostrick monsters, because they all have their decent effects, but he just negates 1 attack and then goes face down defense. Not that great, but I mean, he's still pretty good. Next, I run 2 tour guides, mainly so I can go into 3s, and there are a lot of really good 3s I go into. And you'd think, oh, why not just run another Upstart or another Pot of Duality or something like that? Well, or another hand trap. Well, this is what opens up my 3s, because there's not a chance in hell that I'm going to have 2 Jiangshis on the field at the same time. And those are the only other 3s of the deck. And it also baits out a lot of cards like Effect Veiler and just Solemn Warning, all that. You can really bait out some of their trap cards. And lastly, for the monsters, I run 2 Battle Fader. The only thing I don't like about Battle Fader is how he gets banished whenever he leaves. But, you know, I'll just overlay for 1 once I summon him and go into a 1 or something of that nature. Hopefully he'll go to the graveyard. And I don't run Swift Scarecrow or Card D, and that is for a specific reason that, again, I'll explain once I get to the spell cards, which I'll go ahead and start on now. 2 Pot of Duality. Duality is just really good. I almost side decked Duality and just put him in the second game because I didn't want them to know I was running Exodia in the first game, but I decided, screw it, I'll just put them in the main deck, and if they see an Exodia piece before they know, well, now they know. Next, 2 Upstart Goblins. 2 Where Arf Thou. This is a really freaking good card. Let's say you've got Battle Fader on the field or one of your Ghostricks. You bring a... You pretty much, whenever you control a level 1 monster, bring a level 1 monster from your deck to the hand, and that would be an Exodia piece. I can't tell you how many times I would drop 2 of these near the end of the game and just bring 2 pieces to hand and then just win off that. And I almost, again, side decked him, but I decided to main deck him, which actually won me a lot of games. The only downside is that if you don't summon the monster you bring, you lose 2,000 life points. Not that big of a deal, especially if you save it for like a finisher move, like, alright, I just need these 2 pieces, so I'll activate both these cards, or just one of them. And another thing you can do is you can actually combo Ghostrick Mary on this damage, because Mary, you can discard her just anytime you take damage, not just battle damage. So if you do need to activate this early on, you can just drop a Mary on the damage and get the special summon. Also, Magical Mallet. Actually really good, especially whenever I get a really clogged hand. You'd think drawing 3 Exodia pieces first turn would be good. It's absolutely terrible. Like, you want to shuffle in those Exodia pieces unless it's about halfway through the game. 1 Day of Peace. Allure of Darkness. And lastly, the reason that I don't run Swift Scarecrow. Beginning of the End, extremely dark card art. What you'll do with this is it's whenever you have 7 or more dark monsters. Let's see if I can focus in there. 7 or more dark monsters in your graveyard. Remove from play 5 dark monsters from your graveyard to draw 3 cards. That card is a huge mid-game finisher. Man, I really hope my video has not been out of focus this whole time. Alright. But yeah, this card's really good. That's why I wish Swift Scarecrow wasn't in Earth, and I wish that Battle Fader didn't get banished. But again, I normally get Battle Fader in the graveyard anyway. For the trap cards, I run 3 Reckless. Only run 2 Waboku. 2 Legacy. And 1 Jar of Greed. Alright, let's see here. And now let's go on to the extra deck. I run 1 Alucard because you're really not going to need them hardly ever. Fortune Tune is a really good one because he can't be targeted, and plus you gain life points. That's always a plus. Zenmaines is just a really good wall. Also, so is Acid Golem, especially if you can also combo his you take 2,000 damage. You can combo that with Ghostrick Mary as well. Leviathan Dragon. Battle Cruiser Dianthus. This comes in handy only whenever, let's say, for example, your opponents they just keep drawing cards because they can't do anything because you're playing a Ghostrick deck and they just happen to have a huge hand. Go into that guy, do some decent battle damage. Shadow Lich. 2 of these guys because he lets you and your opponent draw a card. He's pretty decent. I'll use him sometimes. I'm also going to be running a 2nd Slacker Magician once she comes in the mail. And also for a level 4, I'm going to be running, or rank 4, I'm sorry. I'm going to be running Downward Magician. And lastly, for my rank 1s are 2 Lionhearts. This guy won me a game against this really wicked Cyber Dragon build because I crashed into him and he power bonded so much he only had about 2,000 life points left, and I crashed into him and finished the game that way. And the only side deck cards that I have that aren't really local specific are Needle Ceilings. Needle Ceilings always a really decent card to put in your side deck, especially for Ghostrick. Sometimes I'll actually put 3 in my side deck. Also, MSTs for the Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. Let's see here. And lastly, which this isn't all I have in my side deck. This is just the all non-local specific stuff. Like I would run it no matter where I went. And 2 Max Cs, which actually goes really good in this deck because you really want to be drawing cards. This deck, on paper, seems like a decent deck. You wouldn't think it was that great, but it actually pretty much went undefeated except for one game. Game 1, I played a Monarch build, and I won that 2-1, and the only reason that I lost one game was I was about to win, but he had, I was literally about to draw the last piece. He had a, whichever Monarch it is that lets you discard a card from your opponent's hand. He actually ended up discarding my Head of Exodia, and I just scooped up and said, alright, let's go to Game 3, which I won. Game 2, I played against, let me think here. Game 2 was the Cyber Dragon game. You really wouldn't think much about Cyber Dragons, especially since they're not really tier. You really wouldn't think anything of them until they have 2 Cyber Dragons with 8,000 attack on the field and a pretty decent lockdown. I'm not going to go into the specifics of the match, but I also won that game 2-0. First game, I literally drew 4 pieces of Exodia. Well, 3 pieces first hand, and then I reckless greeted, reckless greeted the other 2 pieces because I drew 3 pieces and then 2 reckless greeds and a jar of greed, and I set those traps and then activated them during his draw phase, and I pretty much first turn or 1 turn win, I suppose, something like that, if you want to consider that. But game 2, I won with Lionheart. I actually didn't even win with Exodia. And let's see, match 3, I actually played my old roommate. He was running Light Sworns. He had 1 game against me. Well, I won 2-0, but he had 1 game against me where he almost beat me. He had Tack Neon out on the field, 2 Judgment Dragons, Stardust Spark Dragon, and something else. But it was pretty wicked, and I ended up just drawing the last piece because I kept just like battle fadering him and just barely hanging on there till I drew that 5th piece. And let's see here, that was, and then match 4 was the guy who used Majesty's Fiend against me, which I still think is bullshit. But and I still came in second. Got some decent cards, got some good trades in today. Really good games. I'm gonna be posting a more updated zombie build that is a lot better than the one that I've got posted at the moment. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck. Try it out on YGO Pro, Dueling Network, whatever you prefer, and just have fun with it. It's a really fun deck that actually turned out to be pretty competitive. Well, I guess subscribe if you want. I'll be doing other deck builds, possibly be putting a team together where we'll be doing team deck builds. And, well, that's about it. Thanks for watching.